The library is great, like being at home. Magic times that I have known. And in the library you're never alone, with a world of books to call your own. La 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 la.
Hello! You'll never guess where I am today. Today, we're celebrating National Libraries Week, and I'm in Rochdale Library, which is somewhere down there.
We're in the library.
Hello, my name's Craig Bradley. I'm that Poetry Bloke, and I'm here celebrating National Libraries Week from the 5th of October to the 10th. And I'm actually in Rochdale Library. It's not just about books, is it?
La 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 la. La 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 la. La 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 la. In the library, we're in the library. We're in the library.
Libraries. Reading books. Libraries. Reading music. Libraries. Listening to books.
The library is great, like being at
Libraries.
home.
Reading
Magic
poetry.
times that I have known. And in the library you're never alone, with a world
Libraries.
of books to
Reading
call
posters.
your own. La 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 la.
Libraries. Reading about the future.
La 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 la.
Libraries. Reading everything. Everything.
We're in the library. We're in the library.
Hey, look at this. It's like being on the One Show. I'm in Rochdale Library, big echo space. And I'm sat next to Penny Butterworth. Who's the go on, Penny? What's your...
I am the Libraries and Customer Service Team Leader.
Because libraries now, they've all changed, and certainly this size. I remember the old Rochdale Library over the road. But look at this place now, it's like a spaceship full of books.
Absolutely.
But it's not just full of books, is it? It's full of all sorts of things, and Penny's going to tell us what other great things happen here in Rochdale Library.
We have everything. We have books, we have computers, we have story times. So everything you can think of. We're not just a stamp and go. You can come in for everything now. So communities come and use us, toddler groups. We're something for everybody. We want to be a community hub and bring everybody together.
When I was little, I used to go like this.
Yeah.
But now you can do this. You can sing songs and shout now.
Yeah.
You can say strange words like tomatoes and dinosaurs and things like that.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Rochdale Library, come in and use it, it's brilliant. Remember, libraries, what do they do?
Change lives.
You know, when I come into a library, which I love, I come into a library, I can't resist getting a book out. I just found this book on this shelf, an old book that I read when I was at school years ago. That's a great thing. Books remind you, when you see an old book you read, they take you back to a certain time. They're magic. Just think of all these brilliant books here in Rochdale Library. All these books, every one of them, came from an idea. Somebody sat there with an idea and used their imagination and dreamed. That's what you do. You dreamed up all these brilliant stories. You kind of made a book. Like people make bridges. Engineers make bridges. Who makes books? Imagineers. So I wrote a poem called The Imagineer. with your imagination. Whoa. This is called the Imagineer. Imagine this, imagine that. Imagine wearing a wizard's hat. Imagine riding a flying cat. I'm the Imagineer. Imagine that, imagine this. Imagine a python going hiss. Imagine giving, a camel a kiss. I'm the Imagineer. Imagine the sun, imagine the moon, imagine flying, whoa, on a hot air balloon. Imagine a magic singing spoon. I'm the Imagineer. Imagine the moon, imagine the sun, imagine baking your favourite bun. Imagine having loads of fun. It's your turn now, the poem is done. You're the Imagineer.
Hello! Books are full of words, and this next poem is all about words, about the time the words had a party, and it's called Word Party. Disco was first on the dance floor, giggle came for the laugh, bongo got into the rhythm, and bubble stayed in for a bath. Crisp came in a packet, and peanut came out of his shell. Gossip told all the stories, secret didn't tell. Hungry ate all the sarnies, greedy had more than his share. Sponge was washing his car, shampoo was washing her hair. Sneaky got in without paying. Patience stood in the queue, and Serious stood without smiling. Smelly stood by the loo. Thirsty started drinking. Sniffle started to sneeze. Naughty started a food fight, and Pizza got covered in cheese. Friendly was laughing and waving. Diamond shone like a jewel. Music played the trumpet, and Joker played the fool. The library is great, like being at home. Magic times there I am.
Just making some little adjustments to this point. You know, libraries, they're brilliant places here in Rochdale. Look at that. You can get all sorts in here. And you can even get a cup of coffee. Lots of writers I know sit in cafes. They come up with ideas, staring out the windows, and I've come up with this idea. It's called Proper Writer. In her long black coat and glasses, she really looks the part. She's a proper writer, a master of the art. She's like a great detective hunting for a plot. She might be super cool, but her writing is red hot. She's a proper writer, daydreaming again. She never leaves the house without her old notebook and pen. She's a watcher and a thinker, a magic storyteller. She knows her latest book could be her new bestseller. She uses words like a builder uses bricks, and every simile and metaphor, she knows all the tricks. She doesn't miss a thing, every word she says is true. She's a proper writer like you. I thought I saw a dinosaur standing on the library floor. Never seen one there before. Thought I saw a dinosaur.
The library is great, like being at home. Magic times that I have known. And in the library you're never alone, with a world of books to call your own. La 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 la. La la la. La 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 la. In the library, we're in the library, we're in the library.
Look at this. You've got Rochdale Library there. Books, DVDs, CDs, computers, toddler groups, internet, a cafe, dinosaurs, everything. And outside, it's got an outside space, almost a library garden. Look at that, with a river or a canal or whatever it is. We've got loads of words in there. We've got water out here. Time for a poem called Words Like Water. Pouring from your pen in a scribble or a scrawl, words will flow like water in a waterfall. Standing at the lakeside, writing like a dream, your words are cool and clear like an icy mountain stream. And there, among the ripples, I see you again with endless rhyming raindrops pouring from your pen. Words and water outside Rochdale Library, in the sun, in the lovely autumn sun. Now we're celebrating National Libraries Week. Yay! October the 5th to the 12th, 2020, which is brilliant. Celebrating the National Libraries and creating a nation of readers. Fantastic stuff. It's autumn, October. Time for a poem called Autumn. Sun and rain, rainbows arc, cooling chill, creeping dark. September shower left its mark, muddy football in the park. Fresh breeze, spiders crawl, spinning webs beside the wall. Trees sway, leaves fall. Looks like autumn has come to call.
The library is great, like being at home. Magic times that I have known.
In the library down my street. My first library was a place called Abbey Park Library. I lived on a big estate and it was called Abbey Park Estate. And it had some shops, it had a bread shop, it had a butcher's shop, a greengrocer's shop, and on the corner was the best shop. On the corner was the library. And my mum or my gran took me there, me and my brother and my two sisters, we went there. I remember it being dark at winter time. And we went to the library and it was a lit up building. And we went in, it was magical. I went in there and it was like coming home. Loads and loads of books, of all sorts of kinds of books, and all sorts of magical subjects. And because I was only about 7 or 8 years old, in them days, we used to get a little ticket, a little library ticket, and it was a pink one. And you used to get a little ticket like this. And I said to the lady, right, how many books can we borrow? She went, you can borrow 10 books, 10 books for nothing. It's fantastic. And I got all sorts of books. And not just story books and poetry books, I got all sorts of books. And I still like all sorts of books now. And that was so important for me, going there when I was young, when I was 7 or 8 years old. I liked books anyway. And we had a few books like this at home. My mum and dad didn't really read that much, but we had a few books. The reader was my grandma. She had a room full of books. All sorts of books. And I like all sorts of books. Do you like all sorts of books? I hope you do. Let me show you here. There's all sorts here. I mean, look at this one. I like going walking round here. Wild flowers. That doesn't mean flowers that are mad. I'm wild. It means flowers that grow wild. You see, I told you about William Wordsworth. Old William, who walked around the Lake District. He wrote loads of poems about flowers and things like that. His famous one was called Daffodils. You might check that out one time. You might have to read that for an English GCSE. It's beautiful. Wild flowers, look, also, that's what they call a reference book. So when I'm walking down the street, I go, that's a nice little red flower, what is it? And I go like this. And I might find out what it is. Books with pictures. I still like books with pictures. So that's wild flowers. And look at this one. Birds as well. Little book there. All sorts of books, different sizes for different people and different adventures. Look at that. Birds, again, nature. Maybe William Wordsworth influenced me more than I think. That's that. That's another reference book. Then we're coming down here. What we got in it? Hang on a minute. Look at that. That is a little Spanish school dictionary, which they use. It doesn't mean they use it in Spanish schools. Maybe they do. Look at that. Dictionary, all the words are in here. Look at this word here, trousers. What's the chances of that? Trousers. Look at this word here. What's that word there? Japanese. Japanese trousers. What's that there? Triangular. Estimate. Brilliant, but I've always loved words, and that's where I really got into reading when I was younger. I just loved words. These things here are just little squiggles on the page, but they make sense. And that, to me, is magical. Absolutely magical. Spanish dictionary. Wow, look at that. Anyway, what's this? There's all sorts on this magic bookcase. What else have we got? Oh, hang on. There's something like... Who wrote this? Oh, who's this? Oh, I've got to show you this one. This, one of my favourite books. It's called The Last of the Mojikins. What a great word. That's the first time I'd ever heard that word. I got this book for Christmas when I was 10 years old, 3,000 years ago. I got this book for Christmas, and I know that. You know why? Because look there, can you see? It says Craig Bradley, and that's me. Craig Bradley, 1974. I was 10, and I read it by James Fenimore Cooper. Fenimore. I never heard that name before. Never heard Mojikins. You read new books, you get new words. Fantastic. Your brain expanding, your mind getting bigger. It's brilliant. And I'm now, without reading all those books, and perhaps without libraries, and certainly without my grandma, I don't know if I'd ever written a poem. And you start writing, and then you start reading. Look at this. You start writing, you start reading. Look at him. That's a while ago. My hair's a different colour now. But I'm going to read this one. Oh, hang on, you might have noticed something else. This isn't a book, is it? This is a saxophone. A musical instrument is fantastic. I'm going to learn how to read it. You know what I'm going to learn? So I'm going to get a book, How to Play the Saxophone. And it's full of stuff like this. Look at that. A book full of music. It's full of music. Look at that. Hogwarts, leaving Hogwarts. Hey? All sorts of that. You can write music down. You can get music in books. That is clever. Right, look at this. All sorts. I want to show you a few more books before we finish. Emil and the Detective. This book was written in 1931, before the war. That's Emil. He's all over. There he is. Very clever he is. A detective. A boy detective. Written by Eric Kastner. 1931. Fantastic that. Got that one. That's why I've had that for ages. Look at these books here. Woo! All sorts of books. Now you might know this lady. It's a bit old-fashioned, I have to admit, these days. But look at that one. The Naughtiest Girl Again. Look at that one. The Magic Faraway Tree. It might be that tree. That looks pretty far away. And look at this. The Children of Willow Farm. All these books and all those books, big list. She wrote hundreds of books, and her name was Enid Blyton. Ask your grandma or your granddad about her. She wrote loads of books, out of fashion now, but for me, a massive influence. Such an influence, in fact. Oh, look, I want to show you one more thing. That's a classic. It's called a classic, that. And people say, well, what is a classic? It's a good question. I think a classic is a book that's been written quite a while ago, 20, 30 years, but people still read it and they still love it. And it never seems to get old. And that is The Wind in the Willows. A lot of these books, these classics books, have been turned into films, and you might know them through that, and that's okay. You can always read the book there, though, if you want to. Just think of that. Lots of films you see were once books. That's how they started. They started out as an idea. Someone got a pen, wrote that idea down, it turned into a book, and that book, years later, turned into a film. Wow, that is magic. One more to show you. Oh, I've got a book here. Yeah. This is another classic. Philippa Pierce. Tom's Midnight Garden. Now this book, I'm reading it again. This book is about a boy called Tom, and he goes into the garden. When does he go in? He goes in, what? He goes in at midnight. That's why it's called Tom's Midnight Garden. This is a lovely book, absolutely beautiful, very well written, great stuff. Hey, you might know it. Hope you do. If you don't, give it a go. Why not? Right, let's have a look now. I've got time for one more. Yeah. I'm going to read this poem out if I can find it. It's called Read Yourself Away. In the library, you're never alone, with a world of books to call your own. Monsters and pirates and wizards and elves, and they're waiting for you on the shelves. Books with maps in, books with cars, books with horses and books with stars. And books are just like little boats flowing with the tide. They open up a brand new world when you look inside. And if you've never opened one, why not start today and sail? Whoa! Sail into a sea of books and read yourself away. In the library, you're never alone, with a world of books to call your own. Monsters, pirates, and wizards and elves, they're waiting for you on the library shelves. Books are just like little boats flowing with the tide. They'll open up a brand new world when you look inside. La 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 la, library, a book for you, a book for me. Sing this little melody because we're in the library. And if you've never opened one, why not start today and sail into a sea of books and read yourself away. La 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 la, library, a book for you, a book for me. Sing this little melody because we're in the library, because we're in the library. We're in Rochdale Library. National Libraries Week. Enjoy your library.
Libraries, reading, everything, everything. The library is great, like being at home. Magic times that I have known. And in the library you're never alone, with a world of books to call your own. La 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 la, la 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 la.